Hey, what's up, gang? It's the Commander Smiths, and we have Commander Masters Precon upgrades.
Yeah, we're going to take a $20 budget, and we're going to try and come in underneath it, maybe as close as we can. Maybe we didn't find enough cards to cut. I don't know what we're doing here, because Adam did this deck. Who's the commander that we're working with? So this is the Planeswalker one we're working with, right?
Planeswalker party, and we actually have Commodore Guff.
Okay.
So we got one blue, red, and white for a Guff Planeswalker. It has, at the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target Planeswalker you control. Its +1 ability is create a 1/1 wizard creature token, and then you can tap it for red. But you can only use that mana for Planeswalker spells. -3, this is the key for this deck, and this is where I kind of change things around a little bit, is you draw X cards, and Guff deals that much damage to each opponent, and you draw that that many cards, right? Where X is draw that many cards. X is the amount of Planeswalkers you control. So this can be your commander, as it says there. So the thing that it was kind of lacking, if you look below here, is there's only 17 Planeswalkers, and really, if you're trying to get that -3 ability to happen, you kind of want a little bit more than that. And actually, I would say
understandable.
People could go even higher than what I'm adding here, but adding more Planeswalker stuff and adding basically synergies, not synergies, but stopping people from attacking and killing your Planeswalkers is kind of what I went with in this. So I actually have 12 cuts that I made in this one. And I added, I think actually what I ended up doing was, well, I'll have to see when we get there. I don't remember exactly how many Planeswalkers I added, but I did cut 5 of them in here because I didn't like them. And I added, they were at least replaced, and then a couple more. So,
okay.
So yeah, so let's get moving on this. So Rencho says,
what's the first one that we're cutting here?
Okay. So Cartographer's Hawk. I agree. Along with
you got to be really careful with that one.
I got rid of.
Don't want to talk about any Hawks cocks. So.
Yeah, too fast to get out there. What is it? Orsoka? You got the button. Orisoka.
Oresco's Explorer.
Oh, I should remind people. Yes, it's $20 budget for this first part, but at the end we'll have the Mr. Unlimited at the end. So that's true. You have an unlimited budget. You can buy these cards and add them to your deck. It might make it a little better. So we'll go over that at the very end. So the first two, though, are your mono ramp stuff, because it's really dependent on them having more lands than you. And I just don't like these where it's like if you're ahead.
I agree. I don't like them either.
Yeah. So I got rid of those two right off the bat. I also got rid of, so this deck built.
Oh.
Fog. I got Fogbait. It's supposed to, it's preventing the damage that would be dealt to it. So it's kind of like a indestructible in a way, kind of.
It's gonna block for days.
Yeah. So I get it, but I wanted to do some different things instead of these guys in there. So I got rid of the bank. I got rid of Wall of Denial as well. It does a similar thing. It's an 08. Right. So yeah. I know you might not necessarily agree, but you'll see what I exchanged in here. And then the last creature I got rid of was Narset, because it just I just didn't like it in this necessarily. So
it plays Planeswalkers for free if you hit them, but you got to get them in there. Yeah, you got to have more than 17 in my opinion too.
So 6 mana for, and there's no evasion with it, so I was like, okay, well, let's get rid of that. And then the last two before I get to the Planeswalkers, I did get rid of the 2 of the Oaths. Let me just go to those. I got rid of Oath of Gideon. It's cool. They would come in with an additional counter, but I wanted to add some other things in there. And I got rid of Oath of Jace. It's cool to scry with your Planeswalkers. They're good ones. Don't get me wrong. I just needed some other things in here to help make this deck a little better. The Planeswalkers I did cut. Let's start with Chandra was my first one. I kind of was looking for things to give me blockers or at least removal. And this doesn't really have that until you do the -3. So, you could kill something right away. And then your pluses it just didn't, I didn't like it. I didn't want Chandra in here. we got better planeswalkers to deal with. So Chandra got
This
the
hurts
cut.
me. This might be my favorite
Oh,
planeswalker.
is it? I'm sorry.
But you're not doing this for me.
Yeah.
So
I do like the ultimate with it though, because the emblem, whenever you cast a spell, 5 damage to any target, so that's kind of nice. But then I got Jace, Architect of Thought, got rid of that. I just don't like that Jace very much at all. I got rid of this Narset. It didn't seem like it was doing much. Even its ultimate was just like, like whenever you cast a non-creature spell, do 2 damage to any target. Like this is just like, what? That's not a good ultimate.
That's not enough.
And its +1 is like, okay, it's giving me mana for 4. So I was like, no, let's find better ones. And then the last 2 is the Wanderer. Because the only thing that this really benefits from in this is if you're playing like Blasphemous Act, which is in this deck, but you're counting on that for this. Like, I don't get why this is necessarily in there, except for
it's unlikely to happen. So one or the other probably should go.
Yep. So got rid of that, and I wanted Blasphemous because you want your planeswalkers and you want to destroy the board. So I kept that in there.
Wrathing's a really good idea
with a
for planeswalker decks because it's a lot more likely to keep your planeswalkers around.
For sure.
I agree.
And then Gideon Jura, just doesn't make sense in this. Besides the destroying a tapped creature for 5, I was like, nope, that doesn't work. So those were my 12 cuts. Let's get over to the ads here. So again, this list is going to be listed below, so you guys can check that out.
Under $20.
Under $20. $19.84. All right, you ready?
Woo.
All right, my 2 favorite, and you love these guys here.
If a price sneezes on any of these, you're over 20. So
I had to work at this one. Aetherize and Aether Spout. So these are my replacements for those walls in a way, because I'm going to make them kick everything back to their hand or on top of their library. So we have spells. I have 3 of them that, we'll just hit those right now. Aetherize, Aether Spouts is even more brutal. And then Illusionist Gambit. So you have everybody all out attacking you to kill your planeswalkers. Well, you go, hang on a second here. We're going to change things up, and you're going to now attack that player instead. So Illusionist Gambit is going to be kind of a nice thing. Disrupt Decorum. Fantastic card. Dude, this thing is so cheap now. What did the price get down to? With it? It's in the...
it's real cheap.
I think it's in Commander Masters. And where is it?
That's the symbol there. I would say it's probably under $3.
57 cents.
Oh. Great.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic card.
Yeah. So these are my tricky cards that I put in here to kind of counteract anybody attacking me. Then I added in, Archon of Absolution. So this is kind of hindering people from attacking. Problem is you can't put Propaganda or Ghostly Prison in this because they can attack your planeswalkers.
They can.
They can't attack you unless they pay to. But this adds that little tax on your planeswalkers or yourself. So this is in there. First Planeswalker, one of my favorites. It goes in like almost any deck that is dealing with life or
one of your favorites.
Yes.
All right.
But here's the thing. I needed some bodies on here. So the other one, when I was talking about earlier, you're -3 and it goes down to 1. This one I only have to -2 and I get a cat. And then every time I gain life, it gets bigger. And then you can gain life for your creatures and your planeswalkers. So this, you can, by itself with your planeswalkers, you should be potentially gaining a lot of life. And if you hit that ultimate, you have 15 or more life. I'm not necessarily counting on that in this, but maybe you kind of kill everybody there. So Joria, Weatherlight Captain, historic spells. Your planeswalkers are historic spells. And if you also have artifacts, we don't have sagas in here. You will draw cards off of casting those. So that's pretty nice. Sphere of Safety. We're stopping people from attacking by even this.
I don't think I ever noticed that stop planeswalker or like attacking planeswalkers as well. Very nice.
Yep. So we have, and they also in the deck, it has one that has the taxing and or 1 or 2 cards that do that. So you're getting a total of 4. And then if you get in, when we get to the unlimited part, there's another one you can add in there as well. And then our planeswalkers, more planeswalkers. We got Teferi, Master of Time. This one we love. Also, because you're making phase out, that's protecting your planeswalkers a bit there and drawing cards. Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. This one is whenever you draw cards, it's gaining loyalty counters. You're creating a creature. And then it's ultimate. What is the ultimate again? It's target opponent chooses a permanent they control and return it to their owner's hand. Then shuffle each non-land permanent they control. So you really kill a player.
It's a game ender.
Yeah.
And if you work that in with Commodore Guff, and where you're drawing the cards and dealing the damage, you're going to draw a lot more cards that way.
That is a really good point. I didn't even think of that.
Nope, you did that on purpose.
Yeah, nope,
I believe you.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good point right there. And then the last two, we got Tezzeret, Artifice Master. So you're creating your Thopters, and then has a little bit of draw built in on it. And then its ultimate is kind of nice at the beginning of your end step. Search a library for a permanent card and put it on the battlefield and shuffle. I've hit that a couple times with my Mirror Planeswalker deck.
That is good when that happens.
Yep.
For sure.
You should hit the "Oh, good for you" button, but that's okay. We can.
Nope. Oh, good for you.
No, it's probably this one.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story.
And then our last Planeswalker is Ugin the Ineffable. Mainly because it's giving you another creature, but then that is also potentially draw. So when that leaves, even if it gets exiled or dies, it goes to your hand. So it's a little bit of card draw built in on it. You're not really getting the 2 less for your color spells because you don't have a lot of that. But then it does have removal built in with the destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So removal, creatures, that's what you want in the Planeswalkers, not those bad ones that were in there. So that is the 12 under budget, $19.84. Now let's hit up let's hit up the
Mr. Unlimited
section here, and we have 8
Let's
cards that you can add in. So all will be 1 would be a huge. It does wonders in Planeswalker decks.
Lots of damage there.
Lots of damage. Here is the other one I was talking about. Whenever this is untapped, creatures attacking you or Planeswalker pays 1 more. You can use the attacking part, but really you're keeping this guy untapped. Farewell. You can wipe the board, everything, do all of those fun things. Planeswalkers are not on that list.
Fantastic.
So you just completely clear out. That'll do wonders, but it's a $10 card, so that was a little tough to fit in. Iker Moon Gauntlet. This has to go in there if you have it. If you can, get it in there because your Planeswalkers gain the Proliferate, which is crazy. And if you hit that 12, then you're doing extra turns. And then when you cast non-creature permanents, you're putting more stuff on your stuff. It's nuts.
You had this come out with the Teferi that you can do it on everybody's turn, and you just proliferate, proliferate. Take an extra turn. It was crazy.
Stupid.
So yes, it's very, very good in Planeswalker deck.
And then we have 3 Planeswalkers, Karn Liberated, so you're exiling stuff. That's what I was just talking about, trying to get rid of things. Teferi is kind of like getting rid of things, putting a non-land permanent owner's library 3rd down, and then has draw. And then the Wandering Emperor has flash. Then enter the battlefield this turn, you may activate her loyalty ability anytime you could cast an instant, so you could create a creature. It has an exile tap creature. So that all 3 of them deal with getting rid of people coming at you. And then, of course, Teferi's Protection. When you're in a white deck, why not have that in there? So if you have it,
why not?
Yeah.
It's a great way to protect your Planeswalkers because there's not, you can't really there's not cards that make Planeswalkers indestructible.
Right.
And whenever there's damage, it doesn't matter if they're indestructible or not anyway, because the counters come off of it. So phasing them is a great way of protecting your Planeswalkers. That
is the list. There's probably some more unlimited stuff you could add in there, maybe more Planeswalkers that you like. But the red aspect of only the 3 colors, it added a little different dynamic. I know, I'm sorry I cut your Chandra. I wanted to use some other things. I had a different idea of where I wanted things to go. So so that should be it for the Planeswalker deck.
All right. Hey, if you enjoyed that, share, like, subscribe with the Commander Smiths. We would appreciate all the support that you have.